Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That was absolutely beautiful, my good man.
Thank you, brother. That,
you know,
that chant, I think it was Ramdas said, oh no, it was the guy who, back in the 60s, who created the Hare Krishna sect.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool guy, it sounded like. He said that the way that you say the chant, it will depend, like there's no correct way to do it. You've heard me chant it a lot of different ways.
Yep.
And the way you chant it is indicative of how you're feeling at the moment.
That's
yeah. So I chanted it like that.
More like I don't know, like it's like a more. Sometimes it's like more of a really kind of funny sound to it, a more mystical sound to it. You know, I want to say something real quick about that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about many topics today,
Sure.
but do you know what the biggest problem is?
What's that?
People are not getting into these mystical states because they simply feel they don't want to do this with their voice.
No.
They want to. This is the truth of the matter. They feel if they are making these different noises with their voice that it's so-called childish.
Exactly.
Therefore, they're living these really boring, monotonous
think about
lives.
this. Think about this. Think about, dude, when just 2 years ago, if I saw somebody sitting down going, "Oh," that's like the most stereotypical thing.
Exactly.
But that stereotypical thing that people laugh about is actually the Om. The Om, according to the Eastern mystics, that's the first syllable ever uttered of the universe. Like that's what the beginning of the universe was. That vibration. That's like the core vibration of all things. Is that Om.
I mean, just let that set in for a minute. How that's insane, dude.
Right.
That's crazy. It really is.
Yeah. So when you chant it, you know, the Hare Krishna one's really awesome. The Om one's obviously like a real simple one, and it just gets you, you know, kind of in that state of just ego dissolution. You know, like if you just sit there and meditate and do Om, you'll get to this space to where it's just you're just awareness. You're just an I. You're just an I, and you're just there, and you're not, you know, you're not your ego self anymore.
Was it Tim Lear or was it Ram Dass that, I know that he was actually on psychedelics when he said this, but imagine if you were just doing Om, and then I'm like, hey brother, I look down, where's my legs at, dude?
Yeah.
You start to, you know, you just like go into the spirit realm.
Exactly.
You know, but that's what we need to do. We need to get rid of everything that holds us back, whoever.
Absolutely.
And, you know, as far as different materials that you want to study, you know, we've talked about this. Take whatever you want to, whatever lines up for you on your spiritual journey.
Right.
Take that out of there. But you know what the biggest thing about it is? You're not going to find the main source until you, like, put in the work yourself.
I want to say this, brother. Like you said, you mentioned something about like taking bits and pieces from different things and using them where applicable. That is a wise thing, but I do want to say this: proceed with caution. And when you do start taking things from different sources, do so with caution and do so consciously, because you don't want to bring in things that are conflicting. You know,
well, especially if you're, you know, speaking. Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
especially if you're talking about ceremonial.
But there's many different ways that people have connected to divinity. There's many different ways, you know, and the ancients picked up on something really cool, which was anything that you think about can be traced back to our creator.
Yeah.
So you can think about anything, and you know, it can connect to your creator from it.
You know, man, I really want to say this, and man, this is something I would like to get on is it called a megaphone, like things that like firefighters have, and just start screaming to the public.
Yeah.
All these things that, like the internet, this is killing me. It really is. I mean, it's so useful.
Yeah.
And it can't be talked about enough. This came from us.
Yes.
This and more. But it's like the internet is, you know, our own brain, but ours
Materialized.
is better.
Yes.
Whatever we can get inside
Oh
is
my
already
God,
there.
isn't that insane? to
Dude,
think
we
about?
can sit down right now and look up
Yes.
anything we want to on Google
Yes, in our mind.
in our mind. Like, I
Exactly.
just don't see what
Oh my
I'm
God,
talking
I was
about.
stoned the other day and I had that thought. I thought, oh my God. I was thinking this. I said, the best piece of art that anyone has ever made. And
Yeah.
I think I was listening to Joe Rogan, and it was like one of his ads, and it was talking about this shoe that he advertised, and it was like designed like the human foot. And he said, the human foot is a perfect bioengineering craft. And I was like, whoa. I mean, that's true, man. Like our bodies are the most greatest work of art. I mean, so you want to talk about synchronicity? Think about the synchronicity of our bodies. I mean, our bodies are the greatest work of art you could possibly think of, and everything has a purpose. There's all the millions of little microorganisms.
I've been thinking this a lot lately.
And that right there. So this is what I mean. True mystical experiences are things like that. And Cameron, the true mystical experience transcends religion. The true mystical experience transcends the method. You see what I'm saying?
I was just reading this.
Yes, the method traps you. Ramdas talked about this. You don't want to get trapped by, I am a Christian. I am a Buddhist. I am a meditator. No. I am a drug user. No. The drug use as a method for liberating yourself. The meditation is a method for liberating yourself. Religion is a method for liberating yourself. If you want to be free, you don't want to be a meditator.
These are tools to help us along our way.
Absolutely.
On our walk.
And we should not get so hung up.
I have something else really important I want to say before it slips my mind and I get on to a different subject. Okay, so everybody says that the process of dying to the death process, there was this very just beyond. DMT is released, and right.
It's theorized.
Okay.
It's theorized. We know DMT is in the body, and we're not sure what function it really does. We theorize that it could be because it's a psychedelic compound, so it makes sense that it probably has to do with dreams.
Yeah.
And people think that it's partially released during birth and death.
So there's obviously this. We don't have language. I don't think, at least I don't at least that just by research along. I mean. Such a mystical experience that happens during the process of dying to death. But the thing about it is we're anxiously almost waiting, like thinking about it a lot, what that's going to be like. But we have tools, and just your is one of the probably easiest way to start looking behind that curtain to what this could be.
100%.
And meditation.
And that's part of awakening, dude. There's people. What I mean by sleep is like people walking around.
Wait.
People walking. Exactly. It's right here, right now, dude.
Yeah.
If something is certain, it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
I love that.
If it's certain, one thing that's certain is we're gonna die. Yeah. It's already happened as we speak. We're already dead as we speak.
And this is the thing about it is, it's crazy that,
getting used to death. I think that's one of the fundamental spiritual work that you have to do. It's one of your most fundamental work as a human and as an animal that has to confront his own mortality. We got to come to terms with this, man. We can't just keep shoving it, into the darkness. And not only should we contemplate it, but I think it's one of the biggest keys to the mystery. And the fact that these psychedelic compounds could possibly be be activated during death. And I've had very deep experiences with tryptamines, with DMT compounds, like the mushroom, for example. And the feeling that I get when I get deep in there, brother, it's like, obviously you get many feelings, but one of the feelings that's really interesting is like, you're like this, you're just looking around and you're like, oh, I'm home. Like, this is it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, you're kind of laughing, like, oh yeah, this is it.
I want to ask you this, man.
Yeah.
And there's two things I actually want to ask you. And
like, this is what it's all about. You get that feeling.
When you are in these like states of the psychedelics, do you, wherever you're at, do you just say it's a good trip? I mean, like, it's
pleasant trip.
Pleasant. Do you think
there is no bad trips, just difficult experiences?
Do you ever have the like, this is where I want to stay, I don't want to go back to how things was?
Oh my God, yes. I mean,
Dude,
Ringo,
so it's heaven.
It's heaven. Oh my God, Cameron, I've had many trips that I just did not want to end. It was just, I was having a blast in the astral planes.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's
just a blast.
That's what that's that exact.
My first like really good few mushroom trips were just blissful, amazing, eye-opening, beautiful experiences. And I always say this: the mushroom is nice to beginners. And I've had good trips later too.
Have you read any accounts
But they get harder.
of somebody just fucking getting burned on their very first trip? I mean, is that very common? I mean, have you ever heard of that?
I'm sure it's happened. I don't know if I've particularly heard of one. I mean, there's obviously guaranteed things that can happen that you can do to make yourself have a bad trip. Like if you do mushrooms with the wrong people, and this is the thing. If anybody out there that's watching or maybe watching this is interested in psychedelics, I encourage your interest in it. It's something worth looking into, and it's not for the faint of heart, obviously. But you got to be prepared, because if you're doing it with other people, even people, you want to do it with people that you just know fucking inside and out. You don't, I mean, if there's like any little bit of dark area, it will be confronted in the trip. Like, I've made the mistake of tripping with people that, I was pretty close with, and had kind of bad experiences because they weren't who I quite thought they were. I looked at them in a totally different lens in that state.
I would even say the same thing, even as a high dose of cannabis edibles.
Absolutely, 100%. Even if I get too stoned, I don't like being with people. I don't know too well.
The edible experience that I had, I'm so thankful that I decided to take that amount with you.
Yeah.
That's something I couldn't even imagine doing with anybody else, man, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And
that was so scary, man. You literally took never taken cannabis, basically. I mean, you maybe took a couple buzz of a joint like a year before that.
Exactly.
And
very new.
You had no tolerance at all, and you took 10 milligrams of dispensary edibles, and dude, and you started to. You wasn't feeling much after an hour.
Could I talk about this?
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I actually just want to go and talk about it because you know why? If we live, we're going to get very old, and maybe we don't remember what happens, and might as well actually have it on camera, document exactly. And you could get into some of your most profound things as well, but I'd like to just say this about it real quick. So as far as cannabis, he's been a huge cannabis user. He's, since, you first, tried cannabis at like 12.
I was about 13 the first time I tried it, yeah.
And it's such a big part of his life. And like he always talked about using it a lot different from what a lot of people use it for, but in a much more mystical way. And he's used it for, magic and rituals and stuff. And,
I think it's a goddamn sacrament. There's no doubt about it. Cannabis is a sacred plant to me, 100%. There's no doubt about it, man. The way it illuminates your mind is absolutely astonishing.
And I think that, first of all, I was very interested in it. And this overall was a very scary story. And I've later had much better experiences with cannabis. But anyway, I didn't really expect it to be too intense. But I remember he came up to me and he had 15 milligrams of edibles, and he said, you want to meet the Lord today? I remember that was exact words, and I was just pumped for it. I said, that'd be great. And I just ate the 15 milligrams. 30 minutes pass, I feel nothing. 45 minutes, an hour passes, I feel absolutely nothing. And I remember I was just getting very impatient. He had another 15 milligrams, and I said, dude, can you open that up for me, man? I want to go and take that.
And dude, I wasn't thinking. I think that was a little bit irresponsible on my part. I was a little bit stoned too. I was smoking, and I was like, I want you to get in there. I want you to feel it.
I do want to point out, even if you would have said, hey man, I think you should wait a little longer, I still probably would have persisted. I really was just wanting to really get in there, meet the Lord. Meet the serpent, whatever it may be. Yep. And I actually met the serpent. But anyway.
Serpent, that's a face of the Lord.
It's a face of the Lord, exactly. That's him with a scary mask on, as we like to say. But what was strange was, as soon as I ate the other 50 milligrams, I started feeling the first 50 milligrams.
That's what, oh my God, dude.
And I just want to say, I could not quit laughing.
Mm.
And I went to the commode, I had to pee, but I couldn't stand up. It hit me fucking hard. And I sit down in the commode,
Oh, God.
and after I peed, I started falling off the side, like laughing so hard that I couldn't breathe. And I remember I fell on the floor, and he was in there talking about something I couldn't understand a goddamn word he was saying. I finally got enough energy to get off the floor, and I looked in the mirror, and I looked at my eyes, and they looked fucked up. I was like, this is crazy looking. And then I remember after that, I just had this instant switch.
Oh, God.
And all of a sudden, dooms came forth.
Dude, anybody that's had experience with cannabis a lot knows exactly what you're talking about.
Satan himself, like God, it was this laughing great time, and then all of a sudden this angel turned into the most monstrous form of the devil, you know. But I remember the first thing that happened is my heart started beating completely out of control, and I was certain that I was going to have my heart was going to bust. And I remember I came in there and I put both of my hands on his shoulders. I'm like, dude, he said, okay, Cameron. He said, look, he said, you're going to have to, this is where we are at. You've already taken it. You're going to have to work your way through this, and it makes me uncomfortable. But from there...
I didn't want to try to throw up, because that's just going to create more anxiety.
Exactly. And
you might not even be successful.
And I also thought if I try to throw up naturally, when you throw up, your heart starts beating faster.
Exactly, man. Best to write it out.
And you know what? I want to point out there was many revelations that I had on it, many mystical experiences that I had on. But the biggest thing that happened during this edible experience is that we was listening to, was it Pink Floyd?
It's Pink Floyd, yeah.
And I remember imagining, but I believed 100% certain that song was playing at my funeral. And then after my funeral, again, I was certain that I was dead.
Yeah.
I was actually falling to the floor. I was on my knees, and I thought that I was falling to hell.
Right.
And then he grabbed me by the shoulders and pulled me back up, and I was like, I couldn't thank you enough. I said, you saved me from going to hell.
Mm.
But I found different techniques. I would just sing just random things, and it would bring me peace.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote some things down, but overall, obviously, I'm glad that I did it, and I wouldn't want to. You know, it gave us something to talk about for the next couple of weeks whenever we got together and dissecting, each part to it. But
right.
I think that's the key. The couple key points I wanted to make. It was a fun time, and I had another one. This was like last spring, and then I had another one in the summer, and I took a little bit less than that, and I had a couple, scary. My heart was beating fast, but what made me enjoy it better is that I took some red Ming Dug Kratom.
Yeah.
I was able to mix some up, and that just calmed my heart rate down, and I could actually have a better mystical experience, get more out of it with the Kratom.
Dude, I remember one time, I have experimented 2 months with LSD. I have a little bit, obviously LSD is a little bit problematic because, you obviously want to be really careful with LSD because you want to test it, and because LSD is obviously faked a lot. People will put dangerous drugs on tabs and sell it. But I got some really amazing LSD once, and I took 3 tabs. And this is like, this is one, actually, that was my last big trip, brother.
Was the LSD?
LSD?
Did you do?
Remember I did the 6-gram mushroom trip. That was my last.
So wait, I thought the mushroom trip was your last psychedelic.
No, that was my last mushroom trip. That was
now was that the day that I came over?
That was
the LSD.
The LSD was the day you came over. Yeah.
Wow. Wait.
That was my
was
last
that
trip.
October of 23?
Something like that. Yeah. Swear to God, that's the last time I haven't tripped in a while.
but that was it's cool that I actually got to see you when you was actually tripping.
And I didn't anticipate. And that was probably like 4 hours in. I mean, I tripped probably.
You was obviously out
14
there.
hours. Oh my God. But during the beginning of during the come up phase, I got so anxious, and I had all kinds of mushroom experiences, before this, years prior. So I was experienced with intense psychedelics, and man, the LSD just really was starting to wreck me, man. Just like I just started the strongest feelings and just like the most overwhelming emotions consume me. And I started bawling, crying immediately. I mean, like,
Wait, the dose that I came over?
yes,
I didn't
dude.
know
The
that.
first fucking 45 minutes was just me bawling, crying.
So it
dude.
improved as it went on.
Yes, dude. And it got so bad that I literally mixed up some kratom.
Whoa!
Yeah, it got
I didn't
that
even know
bad.
this.
I swear to God, it got that bad.
What kind of kratom you take to calm
I
down?
think it
Red?
was just white Ming Da. I think that's all I had. And it
Wait,
didn't
was
do
you having like a heart racing and stuff?
no heart racing, just panic.
There
It was just so strong.
What was there anything making you panic?
Oh, sorry guys.
Actually fell down. I had to move my fat ass there.
It's all good, man. But I don't know, man. I mean, there might have been some like relationship things that I was thinking about, and I don't know. But whatever it was, some of the things that I was insecure about was bubbling up, and maybe even existential things too were bubbling up too. And yeah, it was just. But as it went on, I laid down. And I started going into the trip. I started to hallucinate a little bit. With LSD, you don't get. I mean, with high doses, yeah, probably. But with 3 tab range, that's probably like I don't know, maybe 300 micrograms, something like that.
I'm very interested in LSD, man.
Yeah,
I
LSD
really
is an amazing substance. But I want to, I want to say this, man. LSD does not do what mushrooms does to me. Like I said, I haven't experimented with it as much, but when I take 5 grams of mushrooms, I mean, you're delivered into this. Oh my God, it just feels like the most sacred. Like if you think of the mystical experience, like the mushroom experience is like right in the center of that.
Gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
The biggest mystery.
LSD is like a little bit outside of that. But the higher you go, the higher dose you go with LSD, the more like DMT it becomes.
Can I tell you what I really think, real quick?
DMT is the center of the mystical experience, and mushrooms is a form of DMT.
I think with all of this,
and LSD is related to tryptamines, but it's not tryptamine.
I think with all this confusion that everybody has, and they're just constantly debating over all these different religions, and people simplify it even worse than that. It's only Christianity, for example, and they're talking about the branches of Christianity. What a specific church? You know what I think all these people need, man? In this state,
an experience.
You get an experience such as that, and that will show you that the higher power itself will show all of us. Look, we're no different, as LaVey says, than our 4-legged friends. In fact, we can learn a lot from our 4-legged friends. We are an animal, obviously.
And we can't make peace with the moment. We can't make peace with the present moment.
And I think that
we're at war with ourselves. We're at war with nature.
Yep.
And it's this constant strife that the modern man is in. So we need to work on liberating ourselves from all cultural conventions. I mean, we need to throw out the window. What the fuck is why the fuck do I need to shake somebody's fucking hand when I meet them? Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Exactly.
Like, that's just an example of a stupid little formality that people think is important.
Oh, dude,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to fucking wipe tentacles with you today. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up. Strange.
Exactly. We need to start breaking down, and that's what psychedelics
give a good firm handshake.
Yeah, we need to break down all of these stupid traditional things that prevent evolution. Obviously, handshake is a small example, but that's just an example of how weird traditions get cemented into reality. We can literally create reality any damn way we want to, and we need. So what psychedelics do is they dissolve the thought structures. They dissolve the preconceived notions of reality that's been programmed. So you have to undo all this programming, you see. So in our present day, we are faced with the problem of being domesticated as kids, okay, and the family life, and everybody talks about the family life, and really, what's psychiatry as a field, therapy is a thing because of family life. You know what I'm saying? Because of the damage done during those years, and so as adults we have to deprogram ourselves in order to even hope to contact our higher selves. So So we have all this stuff that's obscuring our true selves, the stuff that we've accumulated from our parents and from the culture. So we want to get away from that. We want to walk away from all that and take some time to purify ourselves. And I think an amazing way to do that, for me, if I need to take some time and ground myself, you want to go away, stay off the internet as much as possible. Only talk to people that, love as much as possible. Not, don't,
fake, fake interactions that we have to go through.
Try to drop all of those
non-meaningful.
Yes. And take some mushrooms and fly and contact this deepest level of reality that you've been missing. And that can absolutely transform your consciousness. And we need this so much. We need to transform our consciousness. People have these strange ideas, man, that they're letting roll their lives.
It's crazy that everybody is standing back and just assuming that this is okay.
Why can't every
Who
goddamn...
made this stuff up?
Exactly. Some idiot hundreds of years ago.
Why do they listen to him?
Exactly.
No,
we're literally living out the stupid decisions made by idiots.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We could really name a bunch of them. But how you brought up the handshake thing?
Yeah.
I just have to throw this out here because this is something that's always bothered me. And this is going to sound so stupid.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm even bringing this up. But just say a guy comes up to me and starts having a conversation with me, and all of a sudden he sneezes 3 times right in my face. Then he expects me to say, bless you.
Exactly, dude.
Fuck you, motherfucker. You said bless me.
Exactly. Bless you for sneezing on your ass.
Exactly. There's just so many. We could go on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I don't believe that there's demons inside of you.
That's interesting, but that's actually
where it comes from.
That actually comes from. That's probably, yeah.
So we want to return back to first principles as much as possible and really focus on our own lives. It's so easy to worry about the reptilians. You know what I'm saying? When you just, screamed at your girlfriend and threw a TV at her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you need to be focusing on your own life and your own microcosm and focus on being a good representative of God, basically. Be a good representative of our of the highest consciousness we know.
Be a good Samaritan.
To be a good human. There's a kitty cat over there.
And I had a comment I was going to make on what you said, but I kind of lost my train of thought, my good man.
It's cool, brother. Let's see what else we got in the old.
We can just sit here and look at each other for the rest of the time. Let's just continue filming this for the next 30 minutes.
I kind of like the fact that we can't see your face, man.
Actually, that's kind of making this.
Pink Floyd. Like, have you noticed? Like, you never hardly see their face on their albums.
I love that.
And they did that intentionally because
they didn't like that.
They wanted the music to be what it stood out.
All the people who would listen to them when it came on the radio, they never like, what do these guys look like?
I remember. I didn't know what they looked like forever.
Yeah, I liked that. They had especially their early days. They had this really mysterious.
Because, dude, I think that's really interesting, man. Our think about this. I mean, you could be just an ugly fucking person, like, totally physically unattractive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You could be a big abomination.
But you could. But that literally means nothing, really. Like what really means something is your mind and your ethics and your the things that you value. You have a mind, that's infinite, and this is just your fucking current me. This fucking thing has fell like 10 times, dude. I got ash all over my car now. That's cool.
Get it.
And people are so attached to who they think they are, and they just completely miss the gold inside of themselves.
Yeah, but that's actually probably the I don't know. There's a lot of them, but I was gonna say that's the biggest problem of it all is we can't. And even us, and we're fairly young people, and I realize this even now. I cannot. We're rotting away.
Yeah.
I can't be attached to this.
No.
I mean, it's just it's crazy to think.
Dude.
Well, let's just there's groups of people who just say they're into, and obviously this is great to do this. Everybody should take care of this body and live the healthiest lifestyles we can here. But the people who are addicted to working out, lifting weights, being like this strong,
those guys are
macho
junkies,
man,
bro. Those guys are fucking junkies. Bro, you get high as hell when you exercise like that.
Yeah, but they never look at that aspect of it. But the thing I was going to say about that is, and here they just say they get a little bit older and they can't keep up with the people at the gym that
that depresses them.
They go into this horrible depression.
See, they are fighting
We know
the
people like
natural,
this.
when you are fighting the natural flow of the universe, you are always gonna get fucked.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You can't. The point is to surrender to the perfect flow of the universe,
And it's hard.
and it's like a heartbeat,
you know?
in and out, in and out, in and out. And you know, I entertain the idea that, like what the Bhagavad Gita says, that that which pervades the body is eternal. You know, and we just wear our bodies like clothes, and it's ridiculous. You know, it's like when Krishna told Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, he said, you speak a learned words. You speak learned words. He said, you and I and all the people on this battlefield. He said, there's never been a time where we didn't exist. There's never going to be a time where we don't exist. Like there's like, you know, you mourn for nothing. You know, this is, honor your incarnation. Do the job you need to do. And that's the most honorable thing you can do.
You know, a lot of people always talk about when you can actually get someone to talk about death or what can happen after death.
Yeah.
It's crazy that, you know, we assume some people really just have everything figured out because something that somebody told them at a young age. And, you know, and another ridiculous idea, and at least I feel it's ridiculous, is to think that me and you are going to just be us on the afterlife.
Right.
I mean, think about how much
insane.
that really doesn't make sense at all.
No.
That
this is literally
this
is
name
this
that
is our
was
animal.
given
This is
to
literally
us
an
by our
animal
parents is going to
body.
live on.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yep. That's another thing.
This right here is the illusion.
Yeah.
The illusion is who we think we are, you know. And who we are deep down seems to be just consciousness, just pure. You know, okay. This is my opportunity to drop a beautiful mantra.
Please.
You know Duncan Trussell? He talked to Ram Dass on the phone. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And you know what he told him? Ram Dass told him this. He said, I want to tell you a mantra I've been saying. He said, and it's this: I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. So that's what you are deep down, is loving awareness. That is the highest, most supreme consciousness. That is Krishna. You know, that's what Krishna is. That's the highest, most supreme consciousness, and that's what we all have the potential for. And we all need to be portals for that to shine through. You know, and dude, I was thinking about this today, like, you know, helping people, where, you know, and when, you know, when you come across somebody that needs help and helping them, like Ram Dass talks about this, like the servant aspect. You know, just you know, there is suffering.
Yeah.
There's always going to be suffering, but I will relieve suffering where I can.
Exactly.
You know,
There's
always going to be suffering. I'm not going to dig my claws into the dirt and try to not suffer. No, there's going to be suffering.
Right here.
You're good. You know, and just relieve suffering where it's at. And I think that's beautiful. And not to be an ego, like, oh, I'm helping this person out. Nope, you're just literally a tool doing something. You know, it's just no ego in it at all. You know, everybody's Christ, and I'm going to help them, you know?
You know, a lot of people don't want to talk about this aspect to Aleister Crowley.
Yeah.
But he was known for helping people.
Yeah.
And what he loved to do was, like, he loved to cook.
Yeah.
And he loved getting people and cooking people dinners. And now, dude, giving somebody food,
it feels amazing.
Is one of the best things you can do to somebody.
That's what people don't understand, is that when you do good things for people, it feels amazing. It feels good. Like your body rewards you for doing this, you know. We should help each other out, man. And we're all the same thing, man. And we're all reflections of each other.
Lean on me
when you're not strong.
And we're actually going to put this online.
I know.
We're crazy.
Wackos, dude. We are woo. All right, man. Let's see, why is something really controversial I could say right now? Fuck America!
I love that. Let me add, after I get this chocolate down. I love Satan. I love the serpent. I love Satan. I love the serpent.
In nomine de nostre Satanas Luciferi Excelsi.
Oh, I got something good. Okay. Let's just throw this in here. We're gonna go. This is so great. We're putting this on here. Yes. Okay. God is dead. Satan lives. The year is won. The year is won. That's actually fucking great. Dude, the year is one for us. Ooh, from this day on.
Exactly.
The year is
You know,
one.
there's Tibetan monks and stuff. They'll say they'll be like fucking old, and they'll say like, "How old are you?" And they'll be like, "I'm 20."
I love that.
But the reason they say that is because they literally consider themselves.
Oh.
Because that's when they awoke. That's when they awoke, and they consider like before they like awoke, when they awakened. Before they awakened, they consider themselves like dead. You know, they were not living really.
I love that.
Yeah, so they will say, however long they've been practicing or whatever.
I'm just gonna tell you this. I don't really. This has nothing to do with anything, nor. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it. Salvador Dali, obviously a person that we both have always got a lot of inspiration from. But for some reason, when he was like in his 20s and 30s, people would ask him his age, and he would always say 56. He said that his father had told him when he was young to always, when somebody asks your age, just say that you're older than what you really are. I have no idea why he told him that. I just thought I'd throw that in here.
That's cool, man. I mean, I think we always should be looking for ways to try to shake people out of the hypnotized state that they're in.
Yeah.
You know, this like try to throw in bolts of novelty wherever you are, wherever you see people.
Dude, that's what Crawley loved to do.
Absolutely. I mean, anybody that's highly conscious wants people
Dolly,
to break out of this. Like, why are you living this way? You can be whatever you want to be. You're literally a magician and you don't even know it.
I love how I read that Salvador Dali would go to these like really uptight, fancy restaurants and just act so crazy.
Yeah.
Just come in there with his anteater.
Yeah.
You know, just throw it up on the table.
Yeah.
This really just high maintenance people come there. That I get so much inspiration from that, man.
I know, man. That's amazing.
Just throwing something insane into the most of. I like to go into a church and do that.
Yeah.
Just go in there and just start acting. Just go in there with like the fucking the Dolly mustache.
Yeah, it's fucking pentagram dangling down. Earth, air, fire, water, and Baphomet, I trust.
And you know, speaking of pentagram, the poetry that Crawley has on the pentagram. You know, if 3 people watch this, I want to say, if you don't get anything else, go listen to that amazing poetry on YouTube.
Yeah.
Called the pentagram.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's amazing.
It's mystical. There's so much layers to it.
You know, I encourage everybody to you know, to study and you know the things that they feel compelled to. We need to be getting you know, we need to be digging into reality and being as conscious and awake to our lives. I think the more conscious we become, the more we see like synchronicities, and the more conscious we are, the more we're paying attention, the more we can kind of see like the cosmic giggle a little more. And dude, study.
Yeah.
And explore your mind, explore yourself, explore life, man. And there's so much adventure to be had.
Yeah. I'd like to say also to recommend to what the fuck was I going to say?
I mean, this life is stranger than fiction, man.
To
there's a real battle to fight too, man.
Make priorities what is truly should be priorities, other than what culture wants you to.
Absolutely.
There's so many more important things to actually spend your time to study.
Absolutely.
And
you're more important than these idiots on TV.
Yes.
Your life is more interesting, and obviously, I mean, their life is important, but it's not as important as
only my life is important. Fuck everybody else. But no, serious, like, you know, everybody needs to focus. You know, LeVay talks about it.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't be good to nobody else unless you're good to yourself first.
Absolutely, man.
You have to be good to yourself. And hey, be good to your brain. That's out of everything.
And be careful what you're putting into your body. And drugs too. Be very careful about the substances that you're using, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I mean that should go without saying, but I mean, obviously, if you're shoving toxic liquid down your throat every night, I mean, it's going to have some serious consequences on your body and your mind.
What if somebody watching this right now is, or after we actually...
We just pissed off like all the alcoholics.
What if somebody's like guzzling whiskey, shooting up roids, shooting up heroin, like just doing meth, you know, just doing like the craziest drug, like just gobbling down Big Macs.
Yep. Dude, man, I
challenge yourself.
Dude, I accept anybody that's watching this video, man. I mean, unless you're like a pedophile or something. But even you know, deep down, you are nothing but pure love, and you allowed your animal impulses to drag you down further than you thought you ever would, probably. And I have compassion for people like that. You know, I mean, it's a terrible thing, and they're going to face their consequences, obviously, their physical consequences and their spiritual consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as getting by with anything, and that's a scary realization.
I entertain that realization. One, because I feel like it's a beneficial thing to believe, you know, or to play around with. But I also entertain it as a possible universal law that you know, that's kind of what karma is. Karma is that there's nothing that you'll get by with. There's nothing, and it's not, and it's perfectly just. Like, there's a perfectly just, loving awareness that's literally running things. And every time that we act with attachment, and we act with hatred and negative emotion, you know, that has a consequence that we're going to have to work through. You know, there's going to be things that, you know, that might happen in our life that's not easy, but it might be teaching us from this karma that we've gathered, or you know, there's going to be anger in life. There's going to be sadness. It's going to be, you know, that's part of it, you know, and that doesn't mean that we have to be unhappy. You know, we can just be like water and surrender to the flow of the universe. And all things are passing away as we speak. And then you and all the things that you love are going to be gone soon. And we need to be preparing for our eternal souls. You know, we need to be doing the deep work on the soul, and it can take all kinds of forms. It's not just one way to do it, but we need to be seeking, you know, to awaken ourselves and to expand our consciousness in any way we can, and be very careful about, you know, the information we're taking. You know, I watched this awesome Duncan Trussell video earlier. I'd love to show you this, actually. It's an AI video, and he's talking to an AI.
Is it pretty recent?
It's like 9 months ago. It's hilarious and it's crazy. But just like, you know, the disinformation that we're getting.
God.
You know, that's why I feel even more encouraged to read, you know, brilliant minds like Aleister Crowley, you know, like McKenna. And because we need to go back to these brilliant people to inspire us, because there's a amazing work to be done.
And you know, it'd be better to actually read their actual hard copy books, because you don't even know if you're watching it on. I mean, it's getting to the point you don't even know if that's really what they.
Yeah, if it's not coming straight from the Ram Dass channel, like,
exactly,
knows, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't think I have anything at the present moment to add. If you want to. Klepto Wars.
I think we'll Klepto Wars on this one, brother. Hey, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.